I'm just not the type of person who can blank. If you have ever said this phrase, this video is going to be a little bit of a gut check because that is a sign that you might have a fixed mindset. Hi, my name is Dr. Karin Nordin, and I am an expert in growth mindset. I've published several articles on it. I have a PhD focused on health communication, and this is really my bread and butter. And it's one of these things that a lot of people really misunderstand, but that is stopping a lot of people from becoming the person they want to be and achieving the goals that they want to achieve. In this video, I'm going to give an overview on what a growth mindset actually is, because you might have it wrong. And we're going to talk about signs that you might have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset so that you can actually make the shift and fix it in a meaningful, sustainable way. First, let's talk about what a growth mindset actually is. Now, there's a big misconception out there that having a growth mindset is kind of like having a positive attitude, that growth mindset is believing that you can do it. But scientifically, that's not accurate at all. In fact, a growth mindset is a very specific belief that a specific skill or quality in your life can be improved and changed with effort. So let's use sleep, for example. And let's say that you sleep pretty poorly. You might have a fixed mindset if you say, genetically, I'm kind of screwed. Sleep is no good for anyone in my family. It's not something that can be changed. You might have a growth mindset if you say, historically, sleep has been something that I've struggled with, but I'm sure with effort and a little bit of knowledge, I can at least improve it. That is a growth mindset. Here's why a fixed mindset matters. If you don't believe that you can change something about yourself, if you don't believe that a particular quality can be improved, of course you're going to have difficulty with any goal that relates to that quality. Every time you hit a setback, every time you hit an obstacle, you're going to want to give up because ultimately, deep down inside, you don't actually believe in your ability to change. So let's talk about 3 different signs that you might have a fixed mindset and what you can do about it. Sign number 1 is exactly what I just talked about. You get super upset every single time you hit an obstacle. This is also if you have like the screw it mentality. So let's pretend, for example, that you're trying to engage in intentional weight loss, but every time you don't hit your calories or you don't hit your macros for the day, you're like, well, I can't do it anyway, and you spend several days kind of going totally rogue, eating whatever you want, blowing past your calories, etc., etc. This is an example of a fixed mindset. You don't actually believe you can improve your skill of what you're putting in your body, and as a result, when something reinforces that belief, you blow up, you give up, and you want to be as far away from it as possible. Here's how to make a shift. Instead of viewing obstacles as something that mean you can't get to your goal, I want you to actually anticipate obstacles and write them in as part of your strategy. So in the example we just talked about, that might look like saying, if I have trouble with my macros on Saturday, then on Sunday morning, I will reach out to my coach and make a plan for hitting them that day. This if-then statement is something that is really easy to do, and it's a really concrete tactic you can practice. In fact, I would encourage you to practice it right now. Go ahead and anticipate an obstacle you might face in the next 48 hours that's going to stop you from doing something that you want to do. And if that obstacle happens, then what plan are you going to enact? What are you going to do about it? Go ahead and write that in the comments, and I will reply and let you know if you're on the right track. Sign number 2 that you might be struggling with a fixed mindset is if you are obsessed with your performance or your outcome. So let's use a different example. Let's pretend that you are working on hitting 10,000 steps a day and moving more often in your life. If you get super upset when you don't hit that 10,000 steps, or if you're incredibly focused on hitting that 10,000 steps every single day, so much so that it's causing you anxiety and distress, that might be a sign that you're experiencing a fixed mindset. The reason is you're not giving yourself room to grow. You're not giving yourself room to improve 1%, 2%, 3%, 4% better at that thing. Here's how to fix it. I want you to identify where you want to be and where you are right now. And there's probably a pretty big gap. So maybe right now you're getting 3,000 steps a day and you want to be getting 10,000 steps a day, and you're really frustrated that you just can't nail that. Instead of trying to make the jump all the way there, I want you to identify just what step 1 actually is. What does it look like to get 1% better at the things you want to do? This is called a mastery focus, and it's the opposite of the performance focus that is so common within people who have a fixed mindset. And it can really, really, really make a difference. And that brings me to tip number 3, is that you might have a fixed mindset if you're focused on stopping or avoiding something, especially like through sheer willpower, rather than improving a skill or moving towards something. Let's say, for example, that you're trying to stop scrolling on your phone so much. You're trying to get rid of your TikTok obsession. That's a phrase I hear a lot. If that's the case, you might believe that you have to willpower through, or you just need to make the decision to stop scrolling. Instead, I want you to ask yourself, what am I moving towards? With all that time I'm currently spending, scrolling this app, what do I actually want to be doing with that time? And how can I get one step closer? Now, the science behind growth and fixed mindset is pretty complicated, and so I will be touching on it even more in future videos. So make sure you hit that follow button if you want to get further education on this particular subject. The last thing I'll say is that fixed mindset versus growth mindset is a well-researched phenomenon that has been in science since about the 1980s, which is a long time for psychology. And it is one of the things that has been shown to help people achieve their goals when they are able to shift from a fixed to growth mindset. We do have a coaching program. So if you're looking for a one-on-one coach that's gonna help you actually stay accountable towards those goals that you've set, make sure you check out Alliance Coaching. I will see you next week.